Last week, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton locked horns with a Congressional Select Committee on Benghazi. Pundits are saying that she won the day politically, but Judge Napolitano thinks she may have forgotten a crucial audience, FBI agents and Justice Department investigators looking into her private server. Thank goodness he is here, Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. So let's talk about the three audiences you outlined that she should have kept in mind while she was testifying.
The first first of all, thank you for inviting me on the show. It's always a pleasure, Kennedy. The first audience is the one that was there in the room with her, the committee, the House Benghazi committee that was questioning her, and she was focused on besting them. She was focused on being charming, forceful, presidential, and unflappable. Second audience was people watching, the American public, which she hopes will put her in the White House. I think she forgot about the third, and in her case, the most important audience for her, and that's, as you said in the introduction, about 25 or 30 federal investigators, from Justice Department prosecutors to FBI agents, who are investigating her behavior for a variety of things, and whatever they were investigating her for, they now have another one. So they're looking at espionage, whether or not she failed to secure national security secrets by putting them in the private server, a non-secure venue. Destruction of government property. She didn't return all the emails, her emails, to the government. Obstruction of justice. The destruction of the emails impedes their investigation. And perjury, because she swore to a federal judge that she had returned all the emails. We now know that she didn't. There's now another potential perjury charge against her. Towards the end of the evening.
Okay, this is my question. Did she lie?
Yes.
Like, did she lie, and did she betray that most important third audience that you talked about?
Okay. There are two other things that the third audience is looking for besides lies, if I could save lies for last. One is misleading Congress. Kennedy, the penalty for misleading Congress is 5 years per misleading statement. That's the same penalty as perjury, which is 5 years per, as lawyers say, perjurious, untrue statement under oath. So the FBI is looking not only for outright lies, it's looking for materially misleading. The FBI is also looking for something called bad acts. They're looking for patterns of behavior on the part of a potential defendant, a natural proclivity to lie, a willingness to lie before one tells the truth, a willingness to deceive before one is fully open.
Did she display those bad acts?
Well, I think she clearly displayed those bad acts. She admitted that within 36 hours of Benghazi, she had told the then Prime Minister of Egypt and her daughter that this was a serious planned attack that had been planned and plotted 10 to 12 days before.
By an al-Qaeda-like organization.
Correct. At the same time, she was telling the American public, oh, this is just a street demonstration in response to a crazy video some nutjob in Beverly Hills prepared. But the most serious thing she said was about 8:45, 10 minutes of 9 at night, half an hour before the questioning ceased for the day. Congressman Mike Pompeo of Kansas said to her, are you aware of any guns getting into the hands of rebel groups? Answer, no. That is an outright and bald-faced lie, and here's why we know it. During the Libyan arms embargo, when it was the law of the federal government of the United States, in conjunction with other countries, not to ship weapons to Libya because they didn't want them to get in the hands of Gaddafi. NATO was trying to kill Gaddafi. She authorized the delivery of weapons to Qatar, hundreds of millions of dollars of weapons to Qatar, which Qatar didn't need, but for which Qatar paid, knowing that they would get into the hands of rebel groups, knowing that some of them were run by al-Qaeda operatives. How do we know this? Because we have seen the FBI and the CIA memoranda informing her of this.
All right.
This is what resulted in the use of American weapons and bullets to kill the American ambassador, Chris Stevens.
We only have a couple seconds left. The Republicans did not take your advice. They did not yield their time to experienced prosecutors. I don't think they did a very good job, many of them, of anticipating her answers. What do you think?
One of the most important lessons when you're cross-examining is you don't ask why. You suggest an answer in your question. Isn't it true that you authorized an exception to this arms embargo? If she says yes, well, then she's admitted breaking federal law. If she says no, then she's lied under oath. That's the way you ask a question. These folks on the committee, some of whom were well-intended, others of whom were politically intended, do not know how to ask questions, and that's painfully obvious. She knows how to answer them. but she forgot her third audience.
All right, very good. And we'll see what that third audience has to say.
Recommendations due right after New Year's.
Yeah, sometime in January. Thank you so much, Judge.
You're welcome.
Great having you on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.